20 years ago with water pressure. They still can't do what the ancients were able to do. To carve these big stones, massive 2-ton stones, 1-ton stones, or bigger, precise, accurate, to fit each other. Where it's so accurate, we came and duplicate it today. Tells me,
so true.
Tells me that they had technology far superior, more than, who knows? I wish I could go back in time for 10 minutes, Jean, to find out, because you know what? People have tried duplicating how they built the pyramids. They haven't been able to do it. People, like I said, I've had them on my show. They said, they barge them down, they made canals, and then they had a group of slaves at the other end of the barge stand on it for they could lift the barge up, and then they would drag the stone off. Okay, good. How do they build it 500 feet tall? Just little things like that. They had technology we don't have. Romans had technology we don't have because they developed cement that was way harder, way stronger than any cement we have today. Our cement breaks down after about 100 and some years. Their cement doesn't break down. It actually gets extremely harder with age. They had technology we don't have.
And another form of technology a lot of people overlook, getting back to the pyramid construction, you've probably seen videos and pictures of interior cuts in masonry. These are harder to do even than piling stones in a straight line, which basically you can do with a straight line, okay, a taut cord. But when we're talking about interior cuts, so cutting away a square from inside a flat surface, that's a very sophisticated procedure. It's very difficult to do even with modern tools. And we see countless examples of hewn stone, carved stone with interior cuts, perplexing holes, perfect holes, drilled through very large stones, incredibly large stones. What kind of drill would do that?
Well, it's not that. They didn't have the metal capabilities to do that.
Right.
The metal they had was soft. So to even carve it in stone, to do any of that, we've been visited for a very long time. And it's time people have to realize that we are still being visited. And it's really, I think, at this point, because of maybe the earth changes and everything else is going on, maybe we're being, visited more now than ever.
That's entirely possible. However, I think that, what I was going to say was that I'm so convinced that aliens bioengineered us and take a constant interest in our development, perhaps not as individuals, but as species. The way that kids absorb over an ant farm. I was listening to your interview with Age Austin. You talked about another Twilight Zone episode where the little girl had a town of humans as her little human ant farm, basically. Remember that one?
Oh, I do. And the mothers came and said, don't treat your, that way.
Don't abuse your pet.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I take it for granted that aliens walk among us because some species reportedly are very human-esque. And who hasn't met weird human people or weird human-esque people, especially if you go to somewhere like Las Vegas or New York City, as was made out in Men in Black, the first movie.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Those great scenes in New York with the talking dog, who's the alien, the pug. Brilliant, just brilliant. I take it for granted that aliens walk among us. In fact, I'm always on the spy. My psychic sense is always alert. Are there people around who aren't of this earth? And I have met such people. I can't confirm it empirically as a scientist, but I know. And they knew I knew. And it was just like, okay, we're cool. You do your thing, I'm doing mine.
Well, as long as
they're here observing, they're here, they have work, some of them have work, but what I really believe is that all of us, humans and them, whoever they are, we're all eternal beings. And the nature of eternity is boredom. And so we choose to incarnate into human form to amuse ourselves, even though it's not always amusing. Buddha talked about learning through joy or learning through suffering. And I think they come here to both recreate, do engine repairs and such, and collect minerals and specimens, but also to observe us. They're just curious.
How about inviting groups of people for a barbecue? But the reason why I say that, there's been a lot of talk that there's different alien forms out there that, maybe aren't very happy to us. Like I've said on my show before, we eat everything on this planet that lives in disgusting things, because we wouldn't have this virus now it's hitting if people wasn't eating bat and other type of creatures. We eat everything. Now, what would stop another race so far advanced of us that come down here and we're nothing more than ants to them, or we're nothing more than cattle to them? Mary Joyce, I don't know if you're familiar with Mary Joyce. She runs a reporting center in North Carolina. On my show a couple of times, she's had a government official high up tell her that there is a secret underground base in North Carolina that alien technology is being shared with our military, but they like humans. If you know what I'm saying.
Well, wasn't there a Twilight episode that ended with the cookbook to serve mankind?
Yes,
it was a cookbook.
Yeah. So,
to serve man or something?
Yeah, but see, the thing is, I get people on my show, honestly, Gene, they'll say that these aliens are here to save mankind. They give off these orbs. They're here to protect us. There's 25 million cloaked UFOs circulating around the Earth at any given time to protect us. And then we get these other people on the show that claim that they have been abducted. Like Whitney has been on my show. He's coming up here again next month. Terry Lovelace, a former U.S. Assistant Attorney General, that claims he was abducted. And what he says, that whatever abducted him wasn't friendly towards humans, because when they took off, there was a lot of people on that craft when it took off. Calvin Parker has been on my show about 4 times. He tells me each time he's been on that he feels that whatever abducted him and his friend were evil. I don't know. It just kind of scares me, because I think we got different camps of whatever's going on.
Well, that's the word on Conspiracy Street, is that there's an intergalactic war going on, a la Star Trek or Star Wars. There's a federation, and then there's the Draconians, the Draco, basically. And they hate each other. They are nemesis to each other, and we're pawns caught between them on this mineral-rich, spinning blue marble that's like a vacation spot, a rare gem in the galaxies.
You think it's round. Now, I have a guest coming on tomorrow. It claims the Earth is flat. So we got to just say we don't know for sure.
Well, I have seen empirical evidence to show that the Earth rotates and that it's a sphere, but as a skeptic, I would not say with 100% certainty.
I wouldn't either. Hey, I've been married now going on 44 years to the same woman. At this point, I can't predict or whatever. I just know that everybody has their point of view, so that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow, that maybe the Earth is flat and NASA has been lying to us all these years. I don't buy it myself, because I do, it's very, I don't want to get into it. But, I just threw that in there for the fun of it.
No, it is fun. And, why not? I'm a serious inquirer, but I have a sense of humor. And the day we lose our sense of humor is the day we're doomed. The only way to counteract the gravity is a situation, whatever the situation is with levity. And levity is lightness, humor, good nature, good spirit. And in metaphysics, there's a lot of talk about how light, the force of light, is superior to and will overcome darkness because light illuminates. Its nature is to illuminate. On the other hand, light doesn't illuminate unless it strikes something that can be illuminated, some physical object, material, or mass. This is the nature of nature. When you get down to that level, it's everything falls into a perspective that's very different. And I'm not discounting people who've had encounters that were sour, that were unpleasant with aliens. It fits right into this thinking that as above, so below. These so-called gods, who aren't gods at all, they're alien species, alien races, can't get along. They don't play well with each other. One of these kinds of races invented humans, and we don't get along. We don't play well with each other by and large, but we have this metaphysical movement of people who want to raise consciousness and ascend to a sense of global consciousness so that our planet can take its place with other civilizations that realize there are other races that can play nicely with each other, if that makes sense.
It does. I just don't think we're there yet to be able to do that. I think we're maybe a couple hundred years away from that. Now, our time is almost up. Do you want to hang around? Because my show doesn't actually officially end to the top of the hour. Do you want to hang around for about another 25 minutes?
Of course I want to hang around. And before you kick me off, please find me at www.lightwork111.com. I write for the dailyconspiracy.com as lightworker111. And email me, Jean, Jean, at lightwork111.com. Finally, check out my book, Unknown Objects, the top 10 U.S. UFO cases, available in paperback or as an ebook on Amazon. Thank you, Gary. I've had a great time.
Well, we still got a half an hour. So if you want to hang around, well, we're going to go on break, and we come back. Why don't you talk about one of the cases here in the U.S. when we come back?
I'd be glad to. Thank you.
Okay, kid. We'll be back right after this break.
You thirst for some significance of the fourth dimensional kind. You enter a realm of spirit, of sight and sound and mind. Your radio is a cosmic doorway, and your psyche begins to spark. When you tune in to Gary and the Sun and Night Dreams After Dark.